3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast.
Welcome to episode 39 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and as always, I'm joined by my 2 co-hosts, Will and Avery. How you guys doing today?
So good.
You know, I've been better, right? It's rough weekends, but I mean, only because the Rams lost. Besides that, the rest of the weekend was great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Just a warning to everybody who's
That's
listening,
fair.
there is a strong possibility that you will hear my kids screaming in the background or possibly talking right next to this microphone during this episode, because there is currently nobody watching my kids except for my wife, who cannot walk. So, yeah. All right. Well, to get us started, last week I told you guys I got you guys a little gift for Christmas, and it arrived. So why don't you guys go ahead and open it? See what's inside.
What's in the box? How do I? Oh! The Puka Nacua. A little this year Puka Nacua even. That's a 12, not a 17.
This must have been a last
right.
year Mike Evans, because he's in uniform.
He's up
So-
there, yeah.
He's up. He's standing. Oh,
I tried to find a Tez Johnson for you, Avery, but there was only a Mike Evans.
there's no way that exists. There's no way that exists.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. I tried. I looked everywhere I possibly could, and there was nothing.
I remember, well, with these, are you supposed to keep them in the box, or are you supposed
I was going
to,
to ask the same question. Am I allowed to use this as
or is that
actual
just for
decoration?
collector stuff? Because I don't plan on selling this.
I don't
later.
actually know. I don't actually know. If you guys want to open it, go for it.
I will.
I just thought you guys
don't think
needed
I've
a
just-
little
I just
bit
don't
of-
think-
I
Never
just-
seen one out of the box.
Yeah, I just thought you
I'm
guys
going to
needed a
open it.
little bit of just some extra decoration, you know?
That's what I'm gonna do right now.
You mean my daughter's pink curtains behind me don't do it justice in here?
It's more of the flower thing on the wall that does it for me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was thinking like Mike Evans. I'm like, oh yeah, because most of our favorite players are too new or don't have one made yet.
Right. Exactly.
Can't even see that.
What a baller!
I thought it was a
Why is he so
bobblehead.
white? He looks white.
Well, he's American.
Well,
So
not
clearly-
compared to
yeah,
Puka,
that's not how
not
that
compared to
works.
Puka Nacua. If you compare him to Puka Nacua,
No,
Oh,
I was
you talking
saying
about
Puka. I was talking about yours. I was talking about yours.
I
It's
like
just 'cause
how
it's
you're talking
white.
about
The
Mike
light's
Evans.
really bright. No,
I like how it comes with the authentic. Oh, you can't even see it. This is bad. This for our audio listeners. We have Puka. I got a Puka Nacua, and Avery got a Mike Evans Funko Pop, and we got Joe absolutely nothing because we're bad humans.
that's true.
So, but it did
I
come
did not
with, and I think
expect
your Mike
anything
Evans came,
in return. So
I understand.
it came with the authentic Aaron Rodgers single button chin strap. So that's cool. I'm glad that they can keep
Ooh.
that in. Classic. Yeah, thank you, Joel. Appreciate it.
Thank
is
you
awesome.
very
Welcome.
much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. As you can tell, again, for our
Merry
audio listeners,
Christmas.
I'm wearing a Christmas sweater with an orangutan putting a star on a Christmas tree. And this is only going to get worse as we keep recording in December.
Will called me today and
this is
asked me
the
if we had a
least-
dress code.
I will be wearing clothes
Yeah.
all of December. Don't worry. But I did call him
I should
specifically and
be.
ask the question, hey, do we have a dress code in our podcast? I have, for those that don't work with me, I have one piece of Christmas clothing, whether it's a sweater like this or like a shirt or something, for every working day in December. So I'm already 2 days in with different, like wearing a different thing. So you guys remember
Nice.
the teacher vests from like the early 2000s where they wear like a
Yeah.
blouse and like a 3-button vest? Today I wore a Christmas one that had like a snowman and a Christmas tree and some presents. It's beautiful. I thought about wearing it here, but it doesn't fit anymore. I have to leave it open the whole time. And so, yeah. So here we are.
So this Christmas sweater is the most tame that you will be wearing?
I don't know if it's the most tame, but it's one of the two most tame, that's for sure. Next week is also fairly tame, but then the 2 weeks after that,
progressively unhinged after that?
Completely absolute distraction. Like, I should not wear them, but it's going to be absolute distraction, and I'm not going to stop.
I don't. Mine's distracting, but for a totally different reason. If this light was any brighter, it would just be completely clipped. I wouldn't have. It's too white.
All right, well, let's get this thing rolling here. So, to start off each episode in December, I'm going to ask you guys a Christmas question. And so, this week's question is, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, the Jim Carrey Grinch. Hands down.
That's a good one.
Pretty good one.
There's a lot of great Christmas movies.
I'm trying to... Oh, no, I know. Joel knows. Cassidy definitely knows. You want to take a crack at it?
What is it?
Is it Elf?
No, I actually am not a huge fan of Elf.
Is it Christmas Vacation?
It is Christmas Vacation.
Yeah,
that's mine too. That's mine too.
I think it just has... I don't know if I just watched that with the Deerings a few times or whatever, but I know, like, there was a stint where Cassidy and I would quote it, like, a lot. I mean, not even like the typical one, like, where are you going to put a tree that big? But, like, it would, anytime we were drinking anything, we'd be like, it's good. It's good. It's good. Deep cut, that's fine. Right.
Bend over and I'll show you.
Bend over and I'll show you. But yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Will, why don't you get us going here with your Week 13 wrap-up?
Absolutely. What a fun week of football, or a weekend of football we had. Hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving because football was feasting this weekend, and it started hot in Detroit. We had Packers at the Lions. Packers had a lead early and never looked back. Jordan Love and that Packers offense had their way with the Lions defense. This Lions team does not look good down the stretch here, and watch out for them missing the playoffs. They play the Cowboys next week and then the Rams the week after that. So three Packers, Cowboys, and Rams, 3 straight games, tough week. I think that whoever wins out of the Lions and Cowboys next week, the winner will make the playoffs, the loser will miss the playoffs. I think it's a pivotal game next week for that.
I had the same thought.
And then following that, we had Chiefs at Cowboys. Cowboys went big on Thanksgiving. Against Chiefs. Dallas may be the hottest team in the league right now, and looking at their schedule, they could win 8 straight going into the playoffs and make a playoff game. It is legitimately possible. With the Eagles lost this week, they have a chance to win the NFC East somehow. I've already said on the show, well, might as well just chalk it up. Eagles win the East, have a repeat conference or division champion. The way it's turning out, it might not happen. Then we had Bengals-Ravens. This Ravens team looks bad again. Man, they are right back in the bad column. They were good, and now they're bad. And you know what? When the Ravens are bad, they're real bad. But the Bengals make the apparent right choice to bring Joe Burrow back and get a key divisional win. They also have a chance to win that division. AFC North wide open. Then we have Bears at Eagles. Eagles give up over 100 rushing yards to 2 different running backs. I think it was over 125 rushing yards to 2 different running backs. I think in a monumental collapse for this Eagles team that is headed in the wrong direction at the wrong time. Caleb Williams, still not good. He is okay, still not good, but that team is good. They are leading the league in the turnovers. I may have been wrong about the Bears, but I'm not ready to cement it in yet. They don't have the AFC North locked up. They don't have the number 1 seed locked up. They're currently in the number 1 seed, but
that's strong,
not.
Will. Stay strong.
I'm sticking with it. The Bears will make the playoffs. I will concede that. I don't think there is a way they won't, right? If they just lose out, they won't make the playoffs. But chances are low that happens.
And Will, also, don't forget, Rex Grossman took the Bears to the Super Bowl.
I'm aware. Yeah, right. The Bears don't need a good quarterback. They're leading the league in turnovers, right? They've got 3 of the top 5 interception leaders come from the Bears this season. That's really good, right? You've got a really good defense. Ben Johnson and whoever their defensive coordinator is could not tell you. They're doing a good job. Saints play the Dolphins. Dolphins wins. Who cares? Texans and Colts. Texans win big inside the division. C.J. Stroud looked good in his first game back. This defense could be a problem if they're able to make the playoffs. Falcons at Jets. Jets get a moral victory over the Falcons because it doesn't really mean anything. But the Falcons providing the Rams fans their only real good news of the day as the Rams now hold the number 9 pick from the Falcons. 49ers at Browns. Get Myles Garrett off this damn team. Sorry, Dwayne. Niners win. What else do you think happened? This Browns team is bad.
It wasn't even bad.
Well, I said an adult word. My bad. We have Rams at Panthers. Rams forget how to play defense and lose the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Hey, Panthers are a good football team that need to be taken seriously. They still have a shot at the division title right there in the AFC South. Maybe even a wild card game with a tiebreaker because they have wins over the Packers and the Cowboys and now the Rams. And so with key conference wins, they've got some tiebreaker wins there. They could make a final spot in the playoffs. Maybe that's why the Packers and Cowboys tied, so they keep that half-game lead over the Panthers if they do have the same record. Jags at Titans. Jags win. This Titans team is really bad. It's going to be bad for a long time. The last time they were good was when Mike Vrabel was in the building, and now he's running the AFC for a whole different team. Cardinals at Bucks. Cardinals have soft bench Kyler Murray, and they're not even willing to practice him anymore. He's still on IR or whatever. His wasn't designated to come back from that, even though his time window's up. Tristan Wirfs, welcome back, Bucky Irving. Tristan Wirfs is now tied with Kyle Pitts for receiving touchdowns on the year. Bucks win a close one. 2 touchdowns, the difference maker in this game. This Bucks team needs some help to make a deep push in the playoffs. Seahawks win at home by themselves. No one else played out there on that field. No one is happier about this win. The Seahawks win than Seahawks did play the Minnesota Vikings. They just didn't score any points. So no one is happy about this loss for the Vikings than J.J. McCarthy, who somehow got shown to be the... You're right.
Call him by his name.
You're calling him the wrong name.
Yeah. No one is happy about this win or the loss than 9, who somehow got shown to be the best available quarterback in Minnesota this year. Bills at Steelers. Bills run the same play, and I've seen numbers between 26 and 29 times. It wasn't in a row, but they ran a zone left and a zone right that gets marked as the same play. It's like if you're playing Madden, you can just push your right trigger or whatever to flop play. It's the same play, you're just flipping sides. And they ran it in between 26 and 29 times, got about 180 yards off of it. And if you're a professional team and the other team is running the same play over 20 times, over 25 times on you, and they get basically 200 yards of offense from it, that's really bad. Steelers fans boo their home team at home. They lost their third home game this year while having a lead at halftime. That's not good. This Steelers team's not good. But the Bills get a big win to stay in the playoff race because it was not looking good there for a minute. Raiders and Chargers. Chargers probably at their last win of the season against the second worst team in the NFL. They play in consecutive weeks here. The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Texans, and then the Broncos to finish the year.
Ouch.
We'll see you next year, Charge. Yeah, I know. That's why I said they may have got their last win of the season.
That
Maybe
hurts.
Maybe not, but we'll see you next year, Chargers. Yeah, that's a murderer's row. Especially because this Eagles team right now, they've got to get back in the win column. Then we had Broncos at Commanders, and arguably the best game of the weekend, which with what may have been the catch of the year, even though Puka Nacua and Brock Bowers in the same weekend have arguments to make there. Commanders go for the win in a 2-point conversion overtime, and I watched the all-22 of this play. Have you guys seen this 2-point conversion?
Yes.
I saw it. Yeah.
So I watched the all-22 zoomed out look. It was a incredibly designed play. And had Nick Bonito not swatted that ball, which of course, if he doesn't do that, they're going to score. But the running back who was out in the flat there, he had no one within 10 yards of him. He was going to roll into the end zone. That's how much space he had. So the Broncos get lucky. Their defense steps up again to make a play because this offense just isn't doing enough.
Who do you put the blame on for that? The coach, Mariota?
What do you mean?
The defense just making a play?
No, it's the receiver. If you want to place blame on anybody, they had trips, I think, a bunch of trips on the left-hand side. The inside receiver should have got a chip on Nick Bonito. pushed him off balance, didn't even touch him, was too busy looking at the safety. If you get one hand on him, get him off balance, he does not make that play. Mariota's able to get over. Maybe Mariota, right? Double clutch. He let Nick Bonino left his feet. Mariota's very athletic. Make a move. That guy's still going to be open. I don't know. And then the hilarious game of the weekend, we had Giants at Pats, and the Monday Night Football game is ESPN back on YouTube TV?
Yes.
Are they back together?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Thank goodness.
Sorry you had to watch this game, though, although it did provide some humor. All right, so Pats win, and the Giants are bad, but it could be worse, but not really in this game. Jackson Dart got sent helicoptering on the sideline, and he has Patrick Mahomes to thank for that. He was inbounds, and earlier this year, Patrick Mahomes ran on the sideline and then dropped his shoulder into a corner. Patrick Mahomes screwed everybody on this play.
He's been doing that for years.
Well, it got brought to light this year, and I heard from a different podcast that a memo has gone out for the referees that say unless the quarterback is actually out of bounds, you cannot throw that flag. And so they're actually paying attention to it now. It's a real thing. And so Jackson Dart got sent flying, and the Giants offense did the right thing. They started a fight. You're going to hit my quarterback like that, I'm going to fight you.
I saw that, and I even saw the little post press conference after. The thing is like I think it's right. I have no problem with his teammates starting that little scuffle after that.
Absolutely.
Like just more of just like as a sentiment. But the thing is, Jackson Dart went out there and said, like, look, I mean, I've been getting hit since I started playing this. Like, that is the sport. We're not playing soccer. Like, I expect to be hit whether I'm in the pocket or out of the pocket. So it's one of those things where, I mean, even after, he got hit hard, but he got up. Like, it's like, oh, that must have just looked way worse than it was. Because, like, you got up, you were fine, and it was like, hey, I didn't step out of bounds. Like, it wasn't like I was not expecting to get hit. I mean, yeah, I got hit not the way I wanted to, but I did appreciate him coming out and basically saying, like, that's the game. Like, I don't, like, I appreciate my boys stepping in for me, but
right.
I'm not going to get on them, on, the other team for that.
Young Wei Koo kicks the turf in a field goal attempt, but this is, hold on. This is the holder's fault. This was not the kicker's fault. Let's back up the kicker. This is the punter's fault. Punter received the snap. Now, there was a snap perfect? No. He sets the ball, doesn't get a firm set on it. The bottom slips out, okay? And so young Wei Koo tries to stop his leg, but he's hit the dang driver. His leg is like a dang driver, and he's mid-swing. And so he's trying to hit this thing as hard as he possibly can, and the ball slips, and so he assumes he's going to get the Charlie Brown and Lucy treatment. That doesn't happen. The ball stays down. He kicks it just straight into the turf. It looks terribly embarrassing, but really, it's the holder's fault. Although, young Wei Koo, you got to stop your leg, buddy. You got to save your foot, because if anybody's played golf and you duff it and you hit the grass a foot behind your ball, and you know how that feels in your wrist, I can't imagine how bad that hurt his leg, his ankle. I cannot imagine.
What do you do in that position? I feel like it's like, the reality of that, of not kicking it, is basically just like a 15-yard loss. So, like, wouldn't you just, even if the snap and the placement was just fumbled, like, would you not still try to kick it? I mean, at the very least, you're kicking it out of bounds.
No, well, that's not true. At the very least, they're recovering the ball and running it back for a touchdown.
But but I would say that's the exact same whether you kick it or not. I mean, unless you've pre-planned, hey, I'm not going to kick this if you wobble it. So if that's the case, dive on it.
Well, it's called a fire play, right? The punter, the holder, is supposed to start yelling fire, 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 and then your tight end and your wings are supposed to run routes, and he's just supposed to throw the ball.
But I can see that if it was like a grossly snapped ball, or he completely just like got it and it slipped out of his hands. But when it's already placed and it kind of moves within the fraction of a second, there is it not better to just?
The way that ball came down and then shifted like that, he should have picked it up. At minimum, picked it up and just thrown it out of bounds. Or, you're right, just fallen on it. Just done anything besides what he did. Because when the kicker kicked the turf, and he gets up and loses 15, 20 yards trying to scramble around like he's some kind of athlete, NFL player. He is an athlete, but he's the punter.
I guess for me, I just need more of an explanation because I see it like, okay, if like that happens, it's there. I mean, I feel like if that kicker looked at it again, or like saw the play and was given the opportunity in a different reality, like you're going to be able to make that kick again. Everything else will stay the same. That ball that's going to go down there. Everything, that's still a super kickable ball. So I just wonder,
I firmly disagree.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe, I mean,
the
I
ball
thought
was
maybe I'll have to
sideways.
watch it again. But yeah, but I don't know. I mean, is the worry like you'll kick it maybe too low, someone, I don't know, catches it
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something?
Exactly. It comes off your foot wrong because the placement's wrong, and so it gets blocked, and they pick it up and score it because it's a touchdown at that point. The snap, the hold, and the kick are down to an exact science to where that snapper snaps the ball to an exact rotation. He holds it in a way to where he snaps it. He gets an exact, like, 2.5 rotations or whatever it is to where it hits the holder's hands in the exact right spot, and then he puts it down and the exact shouldn't have to spin it. If a holder has to spin the ball, that's a bad snap. Like that's how precise this stuff is in the NFL. High school, college, maybe not so much, but in the NFL, that's how precise this is. If you're going to be an NFL long snapper, that's how good you have to be. And so it just wasn't that. It looked really, really bad on TV, that's for sure. And then Olszewski, I think it was his name. Olszewski gets knocked out on a kick return with no flag. I watched this play from about 3 different angles. No flag is the right play here. No flag is correct because it was mid-tackle. Olszewski was getting tackled already, and then Ellis is the guy's name who went helmet to helmet. Ellis got pushed in the back, even slightly. Ellis got pushed in the back by a Giants player, and that then changed his body trajectory as Olszewski was getting tackled, and that's what caused the helmet to helmet. So because Giants players had outside force on the Patriots players that caused the helmet to helmet, that's why there was no flag. If it was just Ellis coming in full on without being touched by a Giants player, yeah, absolutely. Even during a tackle, if Ellis was never touched, that flag's getting thrown.
Yeah, I guess the problem I had with it was just how they explained it on TV. Because what the guy said was, just so you guys know, that's not a flag because he's a runner, so he can get hit in the head. And I was like, what? That is the worst explanation.
Right. That's a bad explanation. He's not a defenseless player. Receivers catching the ball and quarterbacks at any point are considered, well, quarterbacks throwing the ball and receivers catching the ball are considered defenseless players. But somebody running with the football, when a running back or receiver is running, or if a quarterback is running, you are no longer considered defenseless, so you are able to protect yourself, which is where the leeway comes in. That is a bad explanation, and the real reason was because there was outside contact by the Giants player. Giants player pushed Patriots player right into a helmet-to-helmet, and that man was just out cold on the ground. Also fumbled the ball, and they lost it. I mean, it was just not a good look overall. I don't know if the fumble stood or not. I actually I skipped forward in it. Yeah, I did good because it was a fumble. You get knocked down, you let go of the ball. That sucks, but that's a fumble.
Real quick,
Yes.
this is not in the NFL, but this is in college. I want to ask if either of you guys saw that catch by the Oregon receiver, the helmet catch.
I didn't
I
get
did
to
not.
watch much of that game.
Okay, because I had a question for that because it got ruled after review that it was incomplete.
I'll go back and watch it this week, and we'll talk about it next week.
Right,
Yeah.
same.
'Cause I didn't get to see yeah.
Because if you guys watch it and then look up maybe even some commentary to see, or at least just that portion, it was like a solid 8 to 10 minute portion of the game where they're talking about it. But I got thoughts.
Okay, and then last thing here, this Patriots team has a bye week this week, and the quote-unquote easiest remaining schedule to finish the season. They have the Bills at home after a bye. Then they're at Baltimore, who's been very bad recently. Then they're at Jets, and then home against Miami. And so they have at least 3 wins there to finish the season out. They'll probably finish as number 1 seed in the AFC, and we all get to hate the Patriots again.
Yay.
I don't hate them. Good for them. Not for
Uh,
their
also-
fans. Good for them.
would like it to be noted that the only team to win a good jersey and lose this year has been the Philadelphia Eagles. They wore their Kelly Greens. They wore their Kelly Greens. I think it was against Dallas, and then they lost that game. That's been the only case of a team wearing an alternate jersey that looks good that they then go on and lose. Patriots wore those Reds last night. Those Reds are so clean. I like them so much. Anyway, that was the week. This is the last week that we have bye weeks in the NFL. And so next week will be a shorter, well, quote-unquote, shorter wrap-up. And after that, we're going over 16 games in the wrap-up for 4 straight weeks. I'm excited.
Sweet. All right. Cool. Thanks, Will. All right, so this week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the NFC playoff picture a little bit. So there are really 10 teams in the playoff picture right now that could possibly make the playoffs. So unless you guys had any specific team that you guys wanted to talk about, what I was planning on doing is I just wrote the names of the 10 teams and crumpled them up and put them in a hat, and I'm just going to pull them out, and that's the team we're going to talk about first, because I don't think we're going to get through 10 teams with the time that we have, so we'll kind of just do it that way. And once we get down to kind of like the end, if you have any specific team that we haven't talked about yet that you want to talk about, just let me know and we can do that. So I'll get the first one going here. So the first one is the Carolina Panthers. Avery, give me some thoughts on the Carolina Panthers.
They're looking real good. I feel like they have only been getting better. I mean, they're still taking losses. I mean, they lost to the Saints, which is so questionable.
And that was like 2 weeks ago.
When was that?
Panthers are on a bye week as well this week, by the way.
Or maybe it was like 4. Maybe it was like 3, 4 weeks.
Because they played the Rams, lost 49ers, beat the Falcons. Yeah, lost the Saints. It was 4 games ago.
Oh, 4
But
weeks
either
ago.
way, I mean, they've been looking good. I feel like it's just one of those things, kind of like the Bears a little bit, where it's like, it's not necessarily any one particular player or not the quarterback, but it's more of just like the team making plays. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Bucks in the first half of the season, just making plays where they need to, where it doesn't look like, I mean, just the sheer fact that they're winning is good, but I mean, they're right up there. Are they tied with the Bucks? Or are they like one?
No,
below?
they've played
they
one
played
more
an extra game. They've
and
lost
they
an
lost.
extra game.
So yeah,
That's right. But no, I think they're looking scary. I like their running back situation as well.
So to finish the season, they have a bye this week, and they've got the Saints, at Saints, home versus the Bucks, home versus Seattle, and then they're at the Bucks. Not an easy schedule coming down the stretch. I mean, even if they split those 1-1, well, 2-2, they're 9-8, and that just does not make the playoffs. And it's very possible that they go 1-3 in their last 4 weeks because they got a bye week. This Panthers team has been on a good run. They've beat some good teams. I don't think they close down. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think we're a year early on the Panthers. We're 1 year too early.
That's fair. I think the Panthers are the most inconsistent team in the NFL this year. Because if you look at their wins and losses, so this is their wins and losses from week 1 until now. So they started with 2 losses, then they beat the Falcons 30-0. Then the next week they lose to the Patriots 42-13. Then they win 3 straight. Then they lose to the Bills. Granted, this was without Bryce Young, but they lose to the Bills 40-9.
They get crushed by the Bills, yeah.
Crushed by the Bills, yep. So then they beat the Packers. Then they lose to the Saints 17-7. They only score 7 points against the Saints. Then they beat Atlanta again. They lose to the 49ers, and then they somehow beat the Rams. That is so inconsistent. There's not one bit of consistency there. Not one bit. They have to be the most inconsistent team in the entire NFL this year. So you just never know what you're going to get with the Carolina Panthers. In their 7 wins, they average 25.2 points per game. In their 6 losses, they average 11.6. That's a massive difference from a win to a loss. Massive difference. There's just no consistency. And I want to note one thing here with the Panthers. It doesn't have to do with their consistency. But I was looking at their player stats. Their receivers are massive. All of their receivers are huge.
They were talking about that in the Rams game.
Yeah, just listen to this. Ted McMillan, 6'5", 212. Xavier Legette, 6'3", 227. Jalen Coker, 6'3", 213. There's a guy that nobody's ever heard of, Bryson Tremaine, 6'4", 212. That doesn't include the tight ends at all. That's just receivers. And those are like their top receivers. Those guys are massive.
I like
So,
a good, solid built receiver. I always feel like they got a little bit more of an edge.
It doesn't surprise me that they have the potential to go off like they did against the Rams because they just have receivers that are just freaking huge. But there's something there that I don't know why they're not consistent. I don't know if it's Bryce Young. I don't know if it's something else. I don't know. But they're very inconsistent to me. All right. You guys got anything else on the Carolina Panthers?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, besides what I said, that I think we're 1 year too early. They did some good, but I don't think they're able to close it out.
All right, cool. Next one here, the Green Bay Packers. Will, let's start with you on this one.
Green Bay Packers. I mean, they tied the Dallas Cowboys, so that tells you everything you need to know. Coming down the stretch here, they play the Bears twice, the Bears twice, and the Broncos, and they're in Denver. That's where the Broncos play. So it goes Bears or home versus Bears, at Denver, at Bears, home versus the Ravens, at the Vikings. They currently are in the 6th seed because the Bears are in first place in the NFC. I don't think the Bears hold on to the first place in the NFC North. I don't like. I don't like the Bears. I don't need to be shy about that now.
We know.
But the Packers can stop the run, right? The Packers have I think a good run defense. I don't know statistically what the numbers say, but if you can stop the run against the Bears, which is not going to be an easy task, you are going to beat the Bears. Because Ben Johnson needs, and you saw it with the Lions last year, Ben Johnson needs the run game, and then he needs to open it up with the play-action pass. And so if you can just get in front of that and stop the run or slow down the run, it's going to shut Caleb Williams down, and I just don't expect it to happen. The Packers are a well-coached team. The Packers' defensive coordinator is actively talked about for head coaching positions that may open up at the end of this year. And so he's a highly sought-after coordinator. I like the Packers' chances to win the NFC North, probably move up to the 3 seed. I don't think they'll take the 2 seed. Well, maybe the 2 seed. I don't know. With that tie in there, that really screws with things. That half a game, they might get the 2 seed with that half a win. Heck, they could even take the 1 seed. They could. I don't think they're going to win out, but they could win out and then get the 1 seed, which seems like a tall task. But the Packers have been a well put together team that, I mean, consistently has just been good. And against the hard teams like the Eagles, it was a 7-10 game. Against the Cowboys, they tied. Against the Browns, they lost. And the Panthers. They lost to the Browns and the Panthers in the same year. That's embarrassing. But I've heard some Packers people talk, and they're playing up and down to the competition. So that when they play a rough team, they're playing up to them, which is why it was a 10-7 game against the Eagles. And when they play the Browns, they're playing down to the Browns. They beat the Lions the first game of the season because they're playing up to what they expected the Lions to be, and the Lions just haven't been that this year. So they've been in some close games that did not need to be close, but even on Thanksgiving in Detroit, they beat the Lions again, and it was a pretty convincing win. I think Micah Parsons is 3rd in the NFL with 12.5 sacks, maybe 4th in the NFL with 12.5 sacks. And he's just a difference maker, and I don't know who all the Bears have played this year, but they have yet to play the Packers. And so they have not seen, we're looking at this real quick, they haven't seen, I guess the Lions, second game of the season, right? Yeah, second game of the season, they played the Lions and got beat 52-21. But besides that, they haven't played a good rush defense, or a pass defense, since then. And so it'll be interesting to see how they stand up against another good pass rush. So, I switched to the Bears. But the Packers have a good pass rush.
Wondering what you were talking
I full on switched to the Bears. That's my
I was just going to let you keep going and see if you could figure it out.
Yeah. I full on swap sides here. full-on swap sides. But the Packers have a good pass defense, and the Bears haven't played a good pass rush since week 1, week 2. So it'll be good to see them get in there and have a chance to take the AFC North back and then continue it on, because the standings are as such. Sorry, Avery, you can talk. I've been talking for a long time.
I think the Packers are either going to win out or just lose one game moving forward. I also think the Lions are going to beat the Bears too, kicking the Bears out.
Ooh.
I think the Bears' run is over. They have not played the Packers yet, and they have to play them, twice in 3 weeks? Yeah, I think the Packers, because the Packers to me are a little bit like the Panthers, but a little bit higher up. I think they're a little inconsistent too. Like, they don't really know who they are, or they haven't known. But I feel like they're going to kick it into high gear now. I think the Broncos have been landing up on heads too many times, and they're due for a tails. I think they beat the Bears. They definitely beat the Ravens and the Vikings. I like the chances for the Packers to make it into the playoffs and to beat the Bears. The Bears.
If
And I
they
don't
win
even
out,
like
it
the
would be-
Packers.
If they were to win out, it would be 8 straight wins going into the playoffs.
Yo. And then they're
Pretty
due
good.
for a loss, and they lose to the Cowboys in the first round. That's the prediction.
Making Cowboys fans everywhere scream for joy.
And then they get
That-
blown out by the next team. I don't even know who, but it's like 42-6.
That sounds about right. No, but that Packers and Bears game is going to be interesting because the Packers, they have the least amount of giveaways this season, and the Bears defense has the most takeaways this season. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, especially because they play twice in 3 weeks. So it's going to
See,
be
I-
a couple good games.
If it's like top versus like whatever, top takeaways versus top protection, I like top protection all the time, every time. I feel like takeaways are too, I want to say lucky. Like, it's not like, oh, this guy came in and he was told to take it away and he took it away. It's like, no, it's like an opportune moment, just like you're able to punch it out. You're able to hit someone at a weird moment in time where they didn't really have a good grip or whatever it is. I just feel like teams that take care of the ball more than take it away from other teams are more consistent. I feel like if those two teams line up, they just won't get as many takeaways. Maybe one, but I feel like they will continue to protect it because that is what they do. Like, they just don't let that happen. Whereas the defense, it's like, yeah, it's kind of the same with picks sometimes. Like, I used to be more enamored with them, but now I'm like, I mean, you know how to catch, and you were in the right spot, which is good. And sometimes you're not in the right spot. Sometimes it just happens. Or just like the quarterback gets hit and they get the ball, and I'm like, I mean, you don't plan for that. In fact, you wouldn't even try to go for that. You're like, oh, I could get a sack. No, give it another beat to try to hit him while he's throwing it. I'm like, okay, but if I'm off by a fraction of a second, he completes the pass. It's like, yeah, but that's the fumble zone. It's like, no, I'm gonna go for the sack. So, but anyway, I think the Packers protection beats out the Bears theft ability.
So the Packers are 3-0 inside the division, and they have that tie. And so if they get one more, because the Bears are 1-2 and the Lions are 1-3. So if they get one more division win, especially this week over the Bears, they will have the most wins in that division mathematically. That the Bears can't catch up, and that may also come into key importance down the stretch here.
For sure.
That tie and then the division win lead over the other 3. Well, 2 Lions or Vikings don't really count this year. So I think that's all key stuff. Additionally, I know we aren't talking about the Bears, but the Bears have a net point of 6. 6 net points in the year. And so they are not good. Anyway, here's that.
Okay,
I just want to get in there.
I didn't draw the Bears next. I actually had the Detroit Lions next. But since we're talking about the Bears,
Since
let's just talk about the Bears.
since I'm shredding the Bears,
let's
keep
just talk
going.
about the Bears. Let's talk about the Bears, and then we'll talk about the Lions after the Bears.
Listen, I can't. Let's just get the whole NFC North. I have been off the Bears for what week are we in? This is week 14 that we're in right now.
Yes.
So for 13 straight weeks, I had thought the Bears were going to lose the football game.
Lose football, dude.
That's not true. They played the Raiders and the Saints. I had them beating both of those teams. You can go back to when we had Bear Den Live on, and I'm smack talking them the entire time. Like, there's no way the Bears win. You're outrageous if you think the Bears are going to get 7 wins this year. And now here we sit, the Bears are 9-3. But they're not doing it with Caleb Williams. I don't know what his stats are this year. I can look.
Well, okay, before you look him up, I have something I want to say about the Bears because it involves Caleb Williams' stats.
Go on.
Okay, so I think I texted you guys this actually. I was like, how do the Bears keep winning when Caleb Williams can't complete 50% of his passes? And I was looking into it. Caleb Williams has completed 58.1% of his passes this year. So when I was looking into it, I was like, I just don't understand the Bears. I don't understand them. How do they keep winning when Caleb Williams has been this bad statistically? And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the receivers dropped the pass or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It's still his statistic. He's completed 58.1% of his passes, which is bad. It is. It is. Just regardless of who dropped the pass or if it was his fault or whatever it is, that is not a good quarterback statistic, completing less than 60% of your passes. So I was like, I don't understand the Bears and how they're winning because there's that stat. Caleb Williams has had 4 games this year where he's completed 60% of his passes or more. Only 4. Only 4. And somehow they're 9-3. None of their receivers are on pace to get 1,000 yards. Their defense is 25th in points per game allowed, and they're 25th in sacks. So I was looking into this, trying to figure out how the Bears are 9-3. This is how the Bears are 9-3. They're second in rushing yards per game. They have 2 running backs who are on pace to run for over 800 yards. They are one of 6 teams that has less than 10 turnovers all season long. They lead the league in takeaways, and their turnover differential is the best in the league by a large margin. They have only allowed 19 sacks this year. So how the Bears are 9-3 is the things that they suck at, they make up for by being really, really good at these other things. That's how they're 9-3. So even though Caleb Williams is statistically not good, they make up for it by doing something else really, really well. Even though they're not good at this, they're really good at this, and it's making up for the things that they suck at. That's how the Bears are 9-3.
That makes sense.
Sorry, I'm doing math. It hurts. Caleb Williams is on pace to throw for less than 4,000 yards this year. So there's that.
3,999. He's not actually on pace for that. But
no, it's not. It's 3,857, and that's rounding up on his average. So you can suck it. Bears fans have never had a 4,000-yard passer, right? That's the number?
That's the number.
And as mentioned, they don't play easy defenses at all. They play the Packers twice. They go at Packers, home versus the Browns, which ask anybody about Myles Garrett. That dude is set to have like 27 sacks, something like that this year. Just completely demolished the record. Yeah, he's got 19 and a half with 5 games left. Dude's insane. And they still play the Titans this year. So you can go ahead and chalk up 3 or 4 more right there. The Bears played at Packers, home versus the Browns, home versus the Packers, at the 49ers, which has turned out to be a tougher defense than it was in the middle of the season. It started tough, got easy, they had to figure it out. It's tough again. And then they're home versus the Lions. And that home versus the Lions, January 4th, that may be winner gets an AFC or an NFC playoff spot, loser doesn't. If you don't think that means something to the Lions, who were the number 1 seed last year, who might be fighting for the number 7 seed, that's significant. That is significant. That's not going to be an easy game. So thinking that Caleb Williams is going to stay on pace here with 226 yards a game when, as the year winds down, these teams start to run the football more. The weather gets colder, it gets rainier, it gets crappier. They just start handing the ball off more. And the Bears are built to run the football. I mean, as you mentioned, Caleb Williams also only been sacked 19 times this year. Now, I know that's not running the football, but last year he was sacked 68 times. And this year he's been sacked 19. Now, that was a full 17 games. We have 5 more games to go. You can do the math. He's getting sacked less than 5% of the time, whereas last year it was over 10% of the time. So, overall, the Bears have improved significantly, but they're about to play tough divisional football down here in December. They went undefeated in November, and I don't think they're a rest on their laurels type of team, but we haven't seen the Caleb Williams and this Bears team have success like this before, and it's hard to keep winning. It's hard to keep your success going. So I don't like their chances, but I didn't think they were going to be 9-3 either. So I'm pretty much throwing my opinion right in the garbage.
Avery, what do you think?
The Bears are going to lose. Packers are going to win. It's not a lot else I can contribute.
I think I purposely tried to find good things about the Bears just because I know you guys are just gonna just say awful things about
That's
them.
good. That's good to find that balance. Yeah.
I did say some positive things about it. They improved this year. As a team, Caleb Williams has been sacked less than half the amount. So much less. 68 times finished last season, and it's not that this year. It's not even 20 times so far. That is better.
Probably the
At
nicest
minimum,
thing you've
better.
ever said about the Bears.
Yeah. But I mean, you're 8th in points, you're 6th in yards. Oh, and you're 20, but overall you're a top team statistically. You just don't look good doing it, and this is where football really matters. I mentioned last week, Bill Belichick said football starts after Thanksgiving, and now here we are.
All right, cool. So we've got about 10-ish minutes left before I have to go, but so we're going to talk about the Lions, and then I do want to talk about one other team, the Philadelphia Eagles, because I got some things to say about the Eagles. So to start with the Lions, I got a question for you guys. What do you guys think of Dan Campbell's coaching style?
I thought he went for it on fourth more times than he actually has. Like, people say that, and then I look at it, and I'm like, they didn't go for it that often. Like, not marginally more than any other coach. Is that what he's supposed to be known for? Just like aggressive offensive play calling?
Yeah, it's just like a lot of people, and Will said this before, like if you make it, you're the best coach ever. If you don't make it, you're the worst coach ever. Yeah. But that's what people are complaining about right now is like he's aggressive, but he's too aggressive because they're going for it on these fourth downs, and if they don't make it, then you look at it and be like, well, we could have 3 points, right? We could have had points. We could have made the game closer than it was. So that's kind of what people are talking about. But, Will said it again. Will said it before multiple times. If you don't make it, you look like the worst coach. If you do make it, you look awesome.
I personally am a fan of going for it on fourth down almost every time. Every time I see an overtime game in college or in the NFL particularly, where they go for 2 to win it or lose it rather than just tie it. I hate tying it. I don't ever want to see that. That to me looks like a coach who cares more about keeping his job than winning. And I hate that. I hate it. I'm like, I thought we were here to win. Why are we kicking the ball? Do you have so little faith in your offense that you've coached that you don't think you could get the ball 5 yards to win the game? Like, it comes down to that, and you would rather tie. You'd rather get a tie. At best, you tie. At worst, you miss the kick, or they get it back and score. I hate it. So anytime it's fourth down, I'm like, wait, so we have the ball, and we would rather use this play we have to give the other team the ball, but we could keep trying to go. I mean, if your team is just crap and you just can't get a first down to save your life, regardless of fourth down or not, maybe not then. But if you're a contender, if you're an actual, you are increasing your chances by what, 33%? By going for it on fourth down? When you have 3 tries, you go for another one. Maybe it's from watching a lot of Oregon football, but yeah, I feel like you should go for it, especially if you've got some momentum. I mean, if you've just been hit with penalties, all right, okay, yeah, just kick it. Clearly, you guys need to reset here. But for the most part, I'm like, no, go for it. Always go for it. Because also, as a fan, if I see the other team, the team that I don't like is going for it on fourth, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
You could get it oh yeah, we got it. Most of the time, I'll see them throw it deep and then the defense picks it. And I'm like, okay, dumbass. Sorry, Dad. Drop the ball and regain the 25 yards you just lost because you wanted a pick. That's an aside. That's totally aside. I've seen that too many times, though, and I hate it. But yeah, they should go for it on 4th. I like Dan doing that. It's not working out right now, but I would trust him to keep doing it. And I like that he does it.
Yeah, and here's the thing is,
I haven't seen a ton of Lions games.
Yeah, here's the thing that people who are complaining about Dan Campbell going for it on 4th down all the time, they have to remember that's the same aggressive coaching style that got the Lions to 15-2 last year. I know they have a different offensive coordinator, but it's the same aggressive coaching style that got them to 15-2. It's just for whatever reason this year, it hasn't worked out as much as it did last year, but it's the same aggressive coaching style.
Yep. It's the same thing with that playing not to lose. That playing not to lose crap. Like when you're up by like 10 points.
Oh,
and there's like
28-3.
I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call it playing not to lose. I just call that a total implosion. But like if you're up 10 points and there's 10 minutes left and all you're doing is just running it up the middle trying to like end the game, I'm like, you're probably going to lose. Because like you're not you're not even really trying to get the first down. You're like, we just want to keep it inbounds and on the ground. Keep the clock moving. It's like, why don't you try to keep moving the ball down the field? If you really want to burn some clock, keep driving down the field. Also, like I see it and I hate it because it feels like this kind of like I've got this treasure and now I'm super paranoid. I know I was super adventurous to get to this lead, but now that I've got it, I'm going to be a little bitch. Sorry, Dad, again. But I'm going to hold it, and I'm not going to risk it to get the biscuit. And then, of course, like any game, it's like 2 minutes to halftime. It's 0-0. The score ends up ending, like I'll usually see a score like 7-3 within the last 2 minutes. It's like, oh, so you do know how to score. You do know how to drive the ball up the field. Where was this? Oh, well, we're running out of time. You had all the time in the world. You scored this touchdown in like a minute 30. And then they scored a freaking NFL record kick in 15 seconds. Where was this? So you're now aggressive? I hate it. I hate it. I want to see more of Dan Campbell. It's not working out recently. I still want to see more of it. I like that. I want to see teams that actually want to win. And I'm just like, whoa, we're just trying to play conservative, trying to keep the, we just, now that we have the lead and the game, it's in the 4th quarter, the coach just believes that every single player has baby oil on their gloves. And it's like, if we do anything, they're going to drop the ball and turn it over. That was a Diddy reference. It didn't tie into this, but it's you get the point.
All right, give us some quick thoughts.
Let's keep going here with that. The key difference there is the coordinators, right? You don't have Ben Johnson anymore. And Ben Johnson was the guy that seemingly schemed up the offense. And so Dan Campbell had to take play calling back over because their offensive coordinator just wasn't doing it. Chances are incredibly high. Their offensive coordinator is not there next year. I don't think they make a change during this season. They went 2-3 in November. And they played, as I mentioned in the wrap-up, they played the Packers. They played the Cowboys this Thursday. Luckily for them, it's Thursday to Thursday, not a short week. They had a full week. And they play the Rams after that. And so it's a tough 3-game stretch there. They're sitting at the 7th seed, right on the precipice of, or excuse me, they're sitting at the 8th seed, right on the precipice of in it or not. Or currently they're not. They need to keep winning. They just haven't looked good doing it. And with Amon-Ra St. Brown injured, at least for this week, I do believe he's out. Sam Laporte is still out. And that defense has not been able to stretch anything together. They've left more open holes than Swiss cheese. Dallas has been pretty good against the run recently, and if they can stop Jahmyr Gibbs, then you stop the Lions. That's just all there is to it. So,
yep.
I don't like the Lions' chances coming down the stretch here. Sorry.
All right, so we'll wrap it up with the Eagles, and I would like to start on this one because I got something I got to ask Eagles fans. For any Eagles fan that is listening to this, I got to ask Eagles fans, do you guys actually still think that you're going back to the Super Bowl this year? Because you guys have harassed me for months now on social media because I said that the Eagles are not going back to the Super Bowl this year. And all Eagles fans have told me there's not even a possibility that any other team is even going back to the Super Bowl. They're so confident that the Eagles are going back to the Super Bowl this year that they're saying they're not only going back to the Super Bowl this year, but next year too. How on earth do you guys think that this Philadelphia Eagles team is special? This Philadelphia Eagles team is not special. You can tell. Look at last year's Eagles team. That team was special. You could tell that team was special. Nothing is special about this Eagles team. The Philadelphia Eagles are not going back to the Super Bowl. And I just want to know, do you guys still honestly believe that? Because I just don't know how you can. That's all I got to say.
Fortunately for the Eagles, they have a pretty favorable schedule. They play the Chargers, at the Chargers, home against the Raiders, at Commanders, at Bills, home against the Commanders. So they play a pretty favorable schedule coming down the stretch here. But with all of the infighting that seems to be happening inside the Eagles locker room, and if news is getting out that the team is fighting with itself, that means it's happening even worse inside the locker room. And so I just doesn't bode well. They can't consistently put offense together like they could last year. It's either they run or they pass. Not unlike last year, where they really just ran, but they used passing as a good secondary. They don't. It's either we run or we pass this year. It's not a both, which is why you have AJ Brown sitting in interviews saying, "If you got me on fantasy, might as well drop me." And all he's done since then is scored 3 touchdowns and get like 300 receiving yards. So whatever. I mean, I'm happy about it. I picked him up and went, oh, if you're saying this, that means they're going to feed you the ball. If you're openly bitching like this, sorry, Dwayne, then you're going to get fed the ball. So I picked him up and he's done great for me. But still, teams that are fighting this much publicly are doing it way worse inside the locker room. I think that's also why the Ravens are having the same collapse, because Lamar came out and said, hey, we took the ping pong tables, the TVs, we took all that it's just us in this locker room now. And I think that has run its course. We're winning now, let's get that stuff back. It didn't work. So.
All right, Avery, give me like 30 seconds. Thoughts on me.
As much as I dislike 49ers fans, I dislike Eagles fans so much more.
The worst.
49ers fans are just annoying, but I feel like Philadelphia fans are like borderline like criminal most of the time. Like if I were to go to a game, I'm not even ashamed to say like, no, I'd be scared. I'd be scared for my life that someone over there is psychopathic enough. Yeah,
in the stadium.
I know. Yeah, and that's probably not even enough. That's probably like the bare minimum they have to do to like legally continue operating as a team. That's it.
All right, cool. So, sorry guys, we have a lot more we could have talked about, but I gotta hop off here. So, next week, week 15 is the start of fantasy football playoffs. And so next week, going into week 15, we're going to have a guest on who is going to help us talk about fantasy football. It's Fantasy Buff 14 on Instagram. Go look him up. He's got some good fantasy football content. We're going to have him on here, and he's going to help us talk about some fantasy football and help you guys out with your fantasy lineups going into the fantasy football playoffs. So stay tuned for that, guys. We'll be back next week. And as always, don't forget to keep your balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis' haircut still sucks.